Hi guys. I'm trying to get settled in, take my shoes off. Just gonna wait a little bit for people to join in. Hope everyone is staying warm and dry. If you're in New York, it's kind of gloomy and rainy outside today. I have my tea. I'm trying not to drink that much coffee anymore because I did notice that it does make me like anxious and stressed, I guess, because like my heart races and I'm always like frantic when I'm on coffee, but I just love it so much. So it's like, I can't win, right? But I have my tea, so we're all good. I feel like it's more of the act of drinking something warm that makes me feel good. So I try to like stick with the teas that are non-caffeinated, and then I can still get my fill of warm liquids. I'm at Luminary, so there's probably gonna be people walking behind me. Try not to get distracted. Okay. So, just wait a little bit. People to join in. 222. I love seeing angel numbers. So I guess we could get started. Let me start with this. Becoming an entrepreneur has been really, I've realized that a lot of people, I guess I didn't really know it until I started my journey, but being an entrepreneur is really like a spiritual journey because thanks for joining in. But yeah, it's really, you really learn, or you're forced to learn a lot about yourself, starting your own business and then your own company and all that stuff. So for me, I've always worked a job my entire life, and coming from that place of like, okay, this is your schedule and then you have to be at work at this point and these are your job duties and all that stuff, it's very easy to work a job because you don't really have to think much. There are other stressful aspects of it, but when you're your own boss and you make your own schedule, it's really hard to, I guess, turn it off, right? It's like living with your boss. Like you're always there. And for me, it was like a process of understanding like, okay, when do I actually want to work? When do I want to schedule my sessions? When do I want to talk to clients? But the whole point of this is that I'm starting to like get into this groove where I am really setting boundaries for myself in terms of work. Whereas in the beginning of this journey, it was all like, okay, I'm just gonna work all the time, and I have this drive that comes off as being impatient and like wanting instant gratification, because it's always like I don't have patience for building the business. It's like, no, I want to be successful right now. Like I want to have like make this much amount of money and like have this many clients right now. So it's like, okay, in my mind it's like, okay, to do that I'm just going to work all the time 24/7, right? And obviously that's not going to work. I'm just creating another job for myself. So I've gotten to this place where it's like, okay, I only see clients on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, really. Like I'll make exceptions sometimes, but for the most part, it's Tuesdays, Wednesdays, sometimes Thursdays. I have one client that I see on Thursdays, but Mondays are 100% no for me. I made this rule a few weeks ago, and it's like the best business decision I've ever had in my life. How did you find your balance? Yeah, let me just finish this thought and I'll answer that. But it's really, to get into that question, it's really trial and error. Like you don't we don't know ourselves as well as we like to think we do. And it's in the obstacles and it's in the challenges that we really get to see how we react, how we deal with certain situations, how we deal with our emotions, right? So getting thrown into this world where it's like, okay, I am the one in charge of every single aspect of my business and of my life. It's a lot of responsibility that I never had before. So it's really about getting to know what your own cycles are, what works for you, and not following anyone else's model. Because a lot of the time we're programmed and we're trained to think like, okay, to follow other people's models of success. We're taught like, okay, look at that person, they're successful. Look at this person, they have experience. Do what they did, follow the blueprint. But it doesn't work that way because everyone is unique. Everyone has their own needs, has their own flow, has their own, desires, like has their own idea of success. So for me, it was a long time, but it was only like a few months. But I was always trying to follow somebody else. I was always looking at people on social media, like my own coaches, and then being like, okay, well, they live, they have this certain amount of success in their business. So if I want to reach that success, then I have to do what they do. And obviously that didn't work for me because that's not how I operate as an individual, right? So it's really about trial and error. And then also not comparing yourself to a past version of yourself. Like just because, right now I'm in a place where I take Mondays off, right? 100%. I don't even let myself look at my emails on Monday. It's like I don't want to think about work. I just want to like binge Netflix and like eat shitty food and like be home and lay in bed all day, because I need that kind of recharge to start my week. And then today, it's Tuesday, right? I'm in the office all day because for me, I feel like almost like I earned it, right? Like I got to veg out yesterday, so I don't feel like, oh, I'm always working. And then at the same time, I allow myself to have that whole day off because I work so hard during the week, So it's whatever works for you. But in order for you to find whatever that is, you have to try and then tweak it according to whatever you find, as you try these different ways of operating. And there's so many possibilities, and there's so many ways to navigate through your own life. You don't even have to apply this to business. Like if you don't own your own business, like just applying it to your own life. Like how can you find your own balance between all the different areas of your life? Are you giving yourself time to just be with yourself? Are you giving yourself time to allow your schedule and allow your productivity to match whatever fits who you are, right? And that's going to evolve as you evolve, because maybe whatever works for you right now is not going to work for you a month from now or a year from now or whatever. Like you just have to, it's just about being conscious, like being with yourself all the time and not listening to outside noise. Like you can look at other people to model after, like to try, like, okay, this person, maybe they work like 4 hours a day and 3 days a week. Maybe I should try that and see if it works for me. But trying it and then really paying attention to yourself and seeing like, okay, is this working for me? And being really honest about, what feels good to you. And that's also about like really knowing what feels good and what doesn't feel good. Because a lot of time we get influenced by what we think we should be feeling, or like what we think should feel good to us or shouldn't feel good to us, or is right or is wrong or whatever. But yeah, it's the whole reason I wanted to get on this, the whole reason I got into this whole entrepreneur talk is the point I wanted to start with is that I've been seeing my clients mostly on the same days, and before, when I first started, it was I always thought like, oh, it's too overwhelming to see all my clients all in one day, because it's like depleting my energy and all this stuff. But I've come to a place in my practice where I'm actually getting more energized seeing my clients rather than depleted, because since I'm an empath and I pick up on people's energy, I used to like pick up on their dark, like their negative stuff that they were kind of venting and then carrying it with me. But I'm learning to not carry the things that aren't mine, and kind of just like letting it go. And I'm getting a lot better at that. And so now my client sessions are energizing me instead. So today I had 2 client sessions, and what I'm noticing in this new pattern, or this new like schedule that I created for myself, is that a lot of my clients, no matter, they're all different. Like I'm working with them with all different goals, and their situations are wildly different from each other. Like one's a stay-at-home mom, one like has a career that she's been in for like years, one is trying to transition out of their career. Like it's all different things, but the same patterns always show up. And because I've been working with them on the same days pretty much, it's like I can see it so clearly. I can see that there's so many parallels in each person's situation, even though they're completely different, So the point is, today the theme that was coming up was, number 1, life. Well, the way that they were presenting their situation, or presenting their own challenges, is that life is hard, right? And it's something that we are taught to believe. Most of us are taught to believe growing up, life is hard, we're always going to struggle. Hey, Rach. And that's all it is. Like, you just have to deal with it. It's like white knuckling through the world, like struggling to keep your head above water. But it's only this way because we believe that. We believe life has to be hard. And so the way we operate and the way we see the world is that life is hard. And so we're always coming from that place of fighting. Like, we always have to fight for what we want, fight for our happiness, fight for our success. But it doesn't have to be that way. Life can be easy. And we put so much pressure on ourselves. Like, once you get past childhood, you're in charge. You're in charge of your own life. Once you're on your own, especially, like once you're out of your parents' house, you call the shots. You can do whatever you want. You can have whatever you want. And for some reason, we still kind of operate under this, like, under a whole set of rules, as if we're still being monitored, as if we're still gonna like get in trouble if we pick the wrong thing, or step out of line, or just not make the right decision. Like, we don't trust ourselves to make the right decision. We're always thinking like, okay, what is this person gonna think? What is that person gonna think? What is the right thing to do? We're always thinking about what's the right thing to do in every situation, when the right thing to do is whatever you choose, because it's your life, right? But we're so conditioned to believe that we have to look outside, we have to look to other people, we have to look towards our perception of other people's lives to know what the right thing to do is, or the right way to success, or the right path we have to take, or whatever, all these things. But it's all perspective at the end of the day. So why can't you just be right? Why can't you just decide right now that everything you do is the right thing? Why does it have to be, oh no, it's what my parents think, it's what my friends think, it's what society thinks is the right thing to do, that's what I need to do? But it doesn't. Like, everyone has their own opinion. You're never gonna make everyone happy, right? And then we put so much pressure on our shoulders, and we carry so much burden of like trying to please everyone and trying to create this image where it's like, okay, we can approve of you now because you're making the right moves and making the right decisions, where it's like, no, I don't need your approval. Like I can just do whatever I feel is the right thing, and that is the right thing. It's all perspective. You can choose whatever perspective you want. But this theme was coming up a lot today with my clients. And it's like this idea that we feel like it's all of these people pressuring us, and all of these people like that we have to please, and that we have to fulfill all the expectations of whoever is important in our lives. But at the end of the day, it's really just us. We're the only ones putting pressure on ourselves. And when you can realize that all of it is in your mind, even though it doesn't sound like you in your mind, like it's probably like your mom's voice, or like your husband or your wife or your kids or your friends, like voices in your head that's telling you like, oh no, that's not the right thing to do, or like you're thinking about what they're gonna think if you do this one thing. It's just you. It's all you. It's just you, talking in their voice, but it's really just you. So once you can learn to prioritize yourself, it's really a game changer, because then you start living according to what you want and what's going to make you happy. Because at the end of the day, you can't make anybody else happy. Like you can't make your mom happy. You literally can't make anyone happy, and that's not your responsibility anyway. You can only make yourself happy, and you really don't know what's gonna make other people happy. Like you may think and then even if like it does make them happy, it's not your responsibility. It's not your responsibility to make them happy. Everyone's responsible for their own happiness. So if they really love you, like if these people you're trying to please are people that you love and they love you, then what they really want is for you to be happy. So if you don't know how to make yourself happy, then how are you going to make anybody else happy? Like you just can't. But that was, like I said, that was a theme today, my client sessions. And then also the second theme was everything is temporary. So a lot of the time, especially when you're working on yourself and you're working on like, personal development and like just growing and evolving in general in your life, speaking from personal experience, I like to think like, okay, this is where I want to be. And if I'm not there, then I'm not satisfied, I'm not happy. And it's always like a rush, right? I need to be there now. I need to be this person now. I need to be this person who's like emotionally resilient, who's successful at business, who is this and that and whatever is on the checklist. But it's really not serving me. Like it's not helping me, because now I'm like feeling bad about something different. And what we really want is to feel good. How do we feel better in our lives? How do we create a life that supports us feeling good all the time about ourselves? Because there's so much out there that's happening that makes us feel bad about ourselves. It's always like going back to earlier, like we're always wrong. We're always doing the wrong thing. We can never please anybody or whatever. So please yourself. It's the lesson of the day. Please yourself. And a lot of the time we are so not used to putting ourselves first, because that's like selfish or arrogant or whatever. Like you have to think about, everyone's always telling us you have to think about other people, but no, you don't. Like you don't have to think about you. I don't want to say it's like bad to care about other people, but if you don't care about yourself and you're not prioritizing yourself, then you're not doing anybody any good. Even if you're a parent, even if you have kids, like you need to do what makes you happy. You need to feel good, because think about this, like when you're with your kids and you feel bad, and then little things annoy you, little things trigger you, you're carrying like resentment and all that stuff, you're gonna take it out on your kids. It's the natural, it's our human tendency. One thing that no one triggers us as much as our kids, or even like if you don't have any kids, like your most intimate relationships. This could be your parents, this could be like a boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, husband, wife. They trigger you because they're so close to us. So I always say, like, your kids bring out the worst in you, and that's a beautiful thing, because you get to see what you want to change or what you want to work on or all that, whatever. And it's not a bad thing. But if you're not changing, then there's a problem, right? I saw this meme the other day that said, in 2020, what you're not changing, you're choosing. A lot of people like to live in that victim mentality where it's like, no, this is happening to me. I have no choice. I have no options. I have to stay at this job. I have to stay in this relationship because X, Y, and Z. Yes, to an extent, that's probably true, but it's really like you're not helping anyone, because you're giving away all of your power and you're giving away all of your freedom. You're like literally putting yourself in a prison, and it doesn't have to be that way. Like you can be happy regardless of the situation, because this is true. I mean, this is true because you can look at two people in the exact same situation. Like maybe they're working the same job, maybe they're living in the same kind of house, maybe they have the same amount of kids, and they'll have two completely different attitudes, right? Because it's all perspective. So I'm kind of straying from the topic, which is everything is temporary, but I mean, it's all connected anyway. But yeah, going back to that, everything is temporary. So maybe me, in where I am in my journey of personal development, is not where I want to be, but at the same time, I have to give myself that grace of being like, okay, well, I'm in transition, and maybe the things that maybe I'm not eating the way I want to be eating ideally. Maybe I'm not working out the amount of times or the amount of hours that I want to be working out every week. And that doesn't matter, because you are where you are right now. And wherever you are right now is the right place to be. Hi guys. Yeah, like you don't have to. We're such in a rush to get to where we ever think to get to the place where we think we should be. We're always in a rush. Hi. We're always in a rush, and me speaking from personal experience, like I'm always in a rush. I'm always trying to get to wherever I think I need to be, that's successful, or that's going to make me happy, or that's the next level of growth, or whatever I think is the right thing for my life at that point. But at the same time, I'm not really accepting where I am right now, and not being like, okay, well, yeah, it's okay to have goals, it's okay to achieve, and it's okay to like have that drive to get to where I want to go. But at the same time, it's okay to be where I am right now. And if right now I want to have a burger because it's going to make me happy, then I'm going to have a burger because it's going to make me happy. And that's okay. Like it's temporary. Maybe a year from now I won't be eating burgers anymore. I don't know. But you're always changing, you're always evolving. So the things that you like are going to change. The things that make you feel good are going to change. And you don't have to be like, okay, well, I'm like, for instance, one of my clients is a stay-at-home mom, and before she had kids, she was always like going out, drinking, whatever, having fun with her friends. And obviously now she's not doing that as much, and then she's noticing that like lately she hasn't been doing it at all, and she's finding herself thinking like, I can go out, but I don't want to be hungover in the morning when I have to take care of my kids. So she's doing what's best for her right now. But at the same time, she feels bad because she's like, okay, now I'm sacrificing the things that I want to do. I'm sacrificing going out even though I want to go out because, you know, I have all these responsibilities, right? But that's assuming that from now on, I don't go out. From now on, I can't have fun. From now on, I'm not the type of person who spends time like socializing. But that's not true. I mean, her kids aren't going to be kids forever. They're going to grow up and she's eventually going to go out again if that's what she chooses, right? But the point is, we don't have to feel bad about where we are ever. We never have to feel bad about, you know, who we are in this moment, our situation, the things that make us happy, the things that don't make us happy. We don't have to feel bad about any of that. It's because it's all temporary. It's always going to change. So it's really about getting to know yourself and getting intimate with yourself, and then really knowing what is going to make me happy right now. What are the things that bring me joy? What are the things that don't bring me joy? What are the things I like to do? And not being so stuck on who we were, because who you were isn't who you are. We're always different every single moment, you know? Just because I haven't eaten much or I haven't liked mushrooms my whole life doesn't mean I don't like mushrooms right now. I don't like mushrooms right now, but that's not the point. Does that make sense? My tea is like a perfect temperature right now. Thank you guys for tuning in. I've been noticing a lot that there's so many synchronicities and connections within all my client sessions. It's just really fascinating because like I always go into the sessions feeling like I'm gonna learn something, because I do. I always learn something, and it's constantly like my sessions are never the same because I'm never the same. Every session I learn something new, so I'm gonna go into the next session somebody different, right? And then like my clients too are changing every single session, and then in between the sessions they're changing. So it's really fascinating to see what comes out, because all I'm doing is really providing space for my clients to explore their inner worlds, to get to know themselves better. And as they learn about themselves, I learn about them. And then as they learn about themselves, I learn about myself, you know? So I'm always learning, or we're always learning. We're always gathering information, you know, every single day. And it's a good thing to embrace, because that's just life. Like life is always changing, and we get so stuck in our heads a lot that we resist change, but really we can't. There's no way around it. Like some of my clients are always like, they'll say they're afraid of change, or they're afraid of the unknown, or like being uncertain. Like they like to have structure, they like to have routine, all that stuff. But really, when you think about it, nothing is certain. Like you have no idea what's gonna happen today, what's gonna happen tomorrow, what's gonna happen in the next minute. You know, you could not even to be as drastic as like, oh, the world could end and stuff like that, but like anything could happen. Anything. Like one small thing, like there's so many things out of your control that there's no such thing as like certainty, because every single moment unfolds the way it's supposed to unfold according to like everything that everyone does in the whole universe. Like everything, you know, someone like just walking down the street, how many other people do you encounter? And all of you guys need to be doing exactly what you're doing to orchestrate that exact moment in time for it to be whatever happens, to contribute to all those factors. And it's just so, life is so unknown. Like you don't know. There's no way. In the same way you can't tell the future, you can't tell the future. you can't know what's gonna happen. Some people can be like, okay, yeah, I have a secure job. I'm gonna be in this job, till I retire or whatever. But how do you really know that? Like, what if the company shuts down? What if later on you decide you don't want to work that job? You know what I mean? Like, what if you get fired? What if you get promoted? I don't know. Anything can happen. Like, literally anything can happen. So it's like even if you have a fear of uncertainty, even though you have a fear of the unknown, all of it's unknown, all of it's uncertain. You're already living in an unknown way. You're already living in an uncertain way. So you might as well just like flow with it instead of like resisting it so much. And everything's temporary. Everything's temporary. So if you think about all of the things you've gone through, all of the things that have happened in your life up until this point, you've gotten through it because you're not in it anymore. So all of that was temporary. So you can apply the same concept to the future or the present and think like, okay, whatever challenges you're dealing with right now, whatever obstacles you're dealing with, you are gonna get past it because everything always works out for you. And that's true. Like, these are my two mantras that I stole from Dr. Katie Henry, shout out. But it's everything always works out for me, and I always make the right decision. So if I keep thinking in my life, like, okay, let's look back at all of the things that I had to struggle through in my life up until this point, right? In the end, it all worked out. Because now I'm here, now I'm safe, now I'm alive, now I'm, on this live, so life can't be that bad, right? So everything worked out. So looking to the future, everything will always work out. And if you live from that place where you're like, okay, everything's gonna work out anyway, so I don't have to like worry so much, I don't have to like try to solve everything because it's gonna work out anyway. And then the other thing, I always make the right decision. I don't feel like we trust ourselves enough. We're always looking for advice, looking to other people as if they know better than us. Like, you are the owner of your body. You're the owner of your life. You are the star of your life. Like, you're the star of your own movie. So why would you look to the outside for someone to make a decision about your own life when they don't know you better than you know you? It's very simple, but we're so conditioned and programmed to think like other people know better than us. So we have to follow their advice. We have to listen to everybody else. We have to listen to the world. But no, they're not any smarter than you. They don't know any better than you. You are completely capable of making your own decisions. You are completely capable of knowing what's right for you. And whatever you choose is the right thing. You have to really believe that. And it takes practice, and it takes breaking a habit, but it's just that. It's just like, okay, the more I do it, the more I trust myself. The more I do it, the more I believe it. And it's baby steps. You don't have to be like, okay, I 100% trust myself today. I 100% believe I'm right all the time. No, it's a process. It's another one of those things that like you don't have to rush it. Maybe that's the goal, but that's not where you are right now, and that's okay. Wherever you are is okay. But even if you don't believe it, believe me. Believe me when I tell you that you are always making the right decision for yourself. You can trust yourself. It's okay to trust yourself. It's safe to trust yourself because you know best for your own life. You know what to do all the time. And the only reason you feel like you don't is because you feel like you don't. It's not true. It's a lie. It's just a story that we're taught to believe. It's a story that we've grown up with, we've lived with for many, many, many years. But telling you now, you don't have to live that way anymore. You can trust yourself. You can be right all the time, 100% of the time. You don't have to feel like, like worrying if you're doing the right thing, worrying or feeling guilty about not choosing the right thing, or thinking like, I should have done this, I should have done that, if only this, if only that. Like, we're always constantly living in guilt and regret and all this stuff that we're told we're supposed to live in. But going back to the first concept, life can be easy. And this is the first step into making life easy, by thinking to yourself like, well, whatever I choose is the right thing for me in this moment. Whatever I choose is the right decision. And when you can really stand by yourself and be on your own team, be your own cheerleader, stand behind yourself, like support yourself, then life becomes easy. Life is only hard because we think it's hard. Life is only hard because we're trying to please everybody else. But we only need to please ourselves. We're like the most important person in our life. And I know as parents specifically, we're always taught like our kids are the most important things in our life, or the most important people in our life. But no, you are. It's not selfish, because you can't think of it this way. You want your kids to be happy. You want your kids to take care of themselves. You don't want your kids trying to please you. You don't want your kids trying to please everyone else. You want them to be happy on their own. So in order for them to do that, like, you have to show them what that looks like, show them how to do it, you know? And you may not know how to either, because you haven't been living that way, but it's a process. Like, you just do it little by little. Like, okay, today, how can I make myself happy? Today, how can I do what will make me feel good? And just take it from there. It's step by step. It's baby steps. It's never one big thing, one big change. Like, I know for a long time I lived by that, like, thinking, okay, I'm transformed. Like, I know this new piece of information. Now I'm gonna start living that way forever, till the end of time, you know? But that's not how it works. It's really like you're constantly flowing, like you're a fluid being. You're not fixed. So it's not like you could just like enter a program and then just start living that way, you know? You're breaking a habit and then building a new one, and that takes time, and that takes effort, and that takes work. But that's how you build a life that you want to live, and not a life that people tell you you're supposed to live. If you're always going to be living the way you think you should, or according to what other people say you should, then you're never going to be happy, because you're not. Like, 'cause you're not doing the things that you want to do. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. It's just really recognizing what you want, what makes you feel good. What makes you feel good? I don't know. Comment. Comment what makes you feel good. What makes me feel good is talking. So I talk. I don't care if nobody's listening. Like, I just talk, right? That's for me. What makes me feel good? Drinking tea. You know, what makes me feel good is being a member at this co-working space, because I feel like legit. I feel professional. It makes me feel good. And so it makes me put out this like energy into the world, and into my work, and into my sessions. Like, this energy of feeling good, like feeling like, yes, I deserve this. Yes, I'm doing what makes me happy, and not coming from like, oh, please be happy with what I do. Please approve what I do. Like, tell me this is right. You know, when you're coming from that place, it's like people aren't attracted to that. People are attracted to confidence. How can you be more confident? And really, confidence is just feeling good about yourself, right? So in order to feel good about yourself, you have to know what makes you feel good. And it's just starting there, starting at asking yourself that question. What makes me feel good? Learning, driving, and working out. Okay, I like driving too. Like, I feel like it's so meditative for me. Like, I don't have to, especially if I'm going somewhere that, like, driving home, or, you know, driving someplace that I drive all the time. I don't have to think about where I'm going, and I kind of just, like, have that time for myself. I like commuting too. Like, when I come into the city, I usually take the train, and I feel like this is the only place I have to be. I have no control over getting there faster. I have no control over, like, when I'm gonna get there, so I can just take this time for myself. Yeah, and the same thing with working out. Like, when I was going to the gym and stuff, it was kind of like that too, like taking time for yourself, and not, it's just for you. Like, you're there for you. Like, even if you're trying to look good for other people, at the end of the day, it's still for you, right? You want to feel good. You want to feel better about yourself. But yeah, there's so many things that make us feel good that we don't really prioritize, or we don't really take the time to really incorporate in our day every single day. Like, really, really little things. Like, I don't know, for me, stretching makes me feel good. Like, just waking up and then just being like, like my daughter, she always takes time to stretch in the morning, and I love it. Like, I love watching her stretch because it looks like it feels so good. And just that, you know, few seconds of getting in that high vibe, of feeling that high energy is enough. Like, there's so many opportunities throughout the day to feel good that we take for granted, or we don't really pay attention to. And if you can feel good enough throughout the day, then you're just gonna feel good in your life, you know? We're so focused on what makes us feel bad, what's wrong. And it's good to give energy to those things if you're trying to change them, or if you're trying to shift them in a way that they won't make you feel bad anymore. But we're so focused on complaining and comparing and all the things that make us feel bad. And even if we put the same amount of effort, even if we put half of the amount of effort we do in the negative things, or even if we put half of the amount of effort in the positive things as we do the negative things, we're already gonna feel a lot better in our lives. But yeah, I think that's the end of my rant for today. I was like, yesterday, Monday is self-care day. So for me, self-care is like, I guess, finding value and finding worth and feeling like I deserve to relax even when I'm not being productive, not cleaning, not working on my business, not being of service to other people. Because a lot of time I wrap my identity in I wrap my self-worth in how I can help other people, right? How valuable I am to other people. And Mondays for me are like the day that I can be valuable to myself without external validation. So I was like, literally, I was in bed most of the day. I watched like some movies, ate some ramen. It was great. And now I'm like, what else can I do? Like, I already had 2 client sessions, and I'm like, I have this long list that I can't wait to like tackle. But, you know, it's just about, for me, I work in extremes. So it's like either relax all day or work all day. And that's just how I operate. Some people like to work 2 hours every day and then relax the rest of the day. Some people, you know, like to work more, whatever. It's just whatever works for you, like I was saying earlier. But yeah, now I feel like I need a stretch. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. If you're watching the replay, leave a comment. Tell me what makes you feel good. And oh my god, I stretched out my arms and both of my shoulders cracked. It was great. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for sharing your time with me. I really appreciate it. And talk to you soon. Bye.